Hey, what's up, guys? It's Ian with Ted and Tactics Podcast. I got my co-host, Tim, the man, Spray 9, down there in South Carolina. Guys, this is a new podcast that the Brotherhood Buffs are bringing to you. We are really excited for this, and we're going to get into it here in a minute. Tim, how's South Carolina? It's currently snowing up here in Philadelphia.
It is beautiful. I was on the beach yesterday, and it was absolutely amazing. It's still sitting in the 70s. Nighttime, we're hitting about 50 or something. But when I leave for work in the morning here in about 8 hours, it will be about 52 degrees, and that's at 4 a.m. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. So, no, we're excited, and I'm excited to bring this podcast to you. So, we're stumbling through this one. This is our first one, and we're going to talk about Ted and Tactics. The premise for this show is going to be we're going to bring up current events that are going on, and we're going to talk about the tactics. We're going to talk about the politics. We're going to talk about the information that we would all talk about at the back of the firehouse. If you're watching on this on video, I know I got a beard. I'll give you my story here in a second. Tim's still currently a fireman. But before we get into all that, we do have an amazing sponsor. And if you guys haven't heard about them, it is the energy drink, right? That is our energy drink that we own and operate, and proceeds of every can supports first responders. I'll get you guys a list and a rundown of everything that we've supported so far this year in our first year of business. But more importantly, it's 200 milligrams of caffeine, matched with theanine, so no crash, no jitters, blueberry extract, CoQ10 for mental clarity, and it's got all your natural minerals, vitamins, electrolytes, and amino acids and minerals. I promise you there's no aftertaste. You'll love the taste of it. Guys, go check it out. Use code TED and TED Tactics for 10% off your first order. So that'd be TED Tactics. I might have to shorten that one up. I'll get that for you guys. So, yes, we're brought to you by the energy drink. And as you guys might know, this was founded from the Brotherhood Buffs. We also have a very special thing going on. We are going to be monitoring incidents from all over this country with Alert Page. They've been kind enough to give access into their back room. We can see all incidents. So if we see an incident that's worth talking about, there's one right in Bucks County, PA, down the road from me. We're going to hit the 1075 button. That's TED 75 button. And we will get you the update on the incidents. So that's enough of me talking. Tim, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience and tell everybody your background in the fire service, because you have some notables on the list out there.
What's up, everybody? Well, welcome to Ted and Tactics. My name is Tim, but everybody knows me as Spray 9, nickname I've had for many years, because when I was living at the Kent Land Volunteer Fire Department, I lived there for about 8 years. Then I moved south. I'm a career fire captain down in Charleston, South Carolina area. I'm also an instructor for combat ready fire training with Nick Martin and all them boys. And I'm on board with the energy drink. I came on board early on, and we're really trying to just get this product out there. I was a heavy Monster and Red Bull drinker, and the problem with that was I kept on crashing, meaning I needed a nap by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Ian and Dan hit me up about the energy drink, and I'm able to keep rocking and rolling all day, every day. So that's been a huge help for me, and I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. You got some heavy hitter names in there. I heard the old Kentland 33. Glad to see you're upright. Nick Martin, you're out there teaching with him. We appreciate that you support and Nick's a big supporter of the drink, so we appreciate that you guys support the drink. Actually, we just had lunch with Nick recently. Chief Martin, Upper Darby. We took a ride down there, had lunch with him. He invited us. The boys invited us to lunch, so that was a good time. We're definitely looking forward to your insight on some of these incidents, because we have some fun stories to talk about. For those of you who don't know, my name's Ian. I am one of the founders of Brotherhood Buffs. We're the guys that yell, "Go get 'em, brothers," all over the internet. But before I grew this sweet beard, I do have a fire service history background. I was a volunteer here local in PA. I then went on to go be a fireman for the city of Baltimore. Worked at 27 engine, 14 engine, 13 engine, and I retired early. Never served a day as a lieutenant out of 58 engine, but I get to claim it on the old resume. spent a lot of years down there, learned a lot of cool things. Wild place. I'm sure some of the stories will come up here during our recordings. You guys have probably seen some viral videos that are flipping of me driving and some other fun things. So you guys will hear more about our history, and you'll really see it come out as we talk about the news stories. So that being said, Tim, Spray On, before we hop into it, we got any TED 75s going on?
TED 75. Well, locally, I got something that just dropped, but TED 75, Broward County, Florida, they got 2-story single family with heavy smoke showing. It looks like they got one line operating, and that's courtesy of Alert Page, breaking news group that sends alerts out all over the place. So check them out, alertpage.net.
Yeah, that's awesome. And all the boys on Alert Page to stay up all night to buff all the incidents are ripping the energy drink. That's enough spam for us. You're not going to hear from any more sponsors from here on out. With that being said, let's bring in the first news story. This was actually an incident that happened right down the road from us. It's one of those once-in-a-career ones. It was pretty interesting. Over at Reuters.com, they're reporting blast and fire shatter Pennsylvania nursing home, killing 2. On December 23rd, a pair of explosions and a fire apparently sparked a leaking gas that ripped through a nursing home near Philadelphia on Tuesday, killing a female employee and a resident, injuring 20 others, officials said. All residents and staff at the Silver Lake nursing home, about 21 miles northeast of Philadelphia, have now been accounted for, and the injured taken to local hospitals. Police Chief Charles Winnick said. Winnick said people had been feared missing for a number of hours as flames and blasts gutted the nursing home. Fire Marshal Kevin DiPolito said numerous patients and staff were initially trapped inside the demolished portion of the building. The Bucks County Emergency Dispatch Center received first reports shortly after 2 p.m. Eastern. DiPolito said that the first firefighters arriving on scene, some of the fire and rescue stations across the street encountered a major structural collapse with part of the building's first floor crumbling into the basement below. He said numerous victims were extricated from the debris, blocks, stairwells, and stuck elevators, while firefighters ventured into the collapsed basement and pulled at least 2 more to safety before retreating amid lingering gas fumes. We got everyone that we could find, that we could see, and that we exited the building. With approximately 15 to 30 seconds of us exiting the building, there was a heavy odor of natural gas, and there was another explosion and fire. And the news story goes on to talk about how many people, how many patients, and from there. And you guys can get a good look at this photo. There's some really good photos online. I'll try to get some of them, and we'll try to dub them in here. Tim, dude, what's your Spray 9? We just got to get rid of Tim, AKA, because I always call you Spray 9. But what's your initial thoughts? Have you ever been on an incident like this, or did you look into this story at all?
I looked into this story a little bit back in 2009, I believe. In Prince George's County, we had a strip mall kind of blow up on the initial arriving crews, and that was a kind of screwed up scene way back when Statter was really pushing stuff out. They had dash cam footage of the explosion and it injured a bunch of firefighters. But that's the gas explosion that I have experience with. But the biggest thing is it's a shit show. The only way you can be prepared for something like that is just always being prepared, no matter what call you go to, expecting that it's going to be the worst call of your career. And this is a career call.
Yeah, this is definitely a once in a career one. I'll tell you my story here in a little bit. Now I can tell you that like a lot of people were tuned in the county surrounding Philadelphia, because I was getting texts every which way to Sunday. Yo, did you see this? Did you see this? People were talking about rescue. Get the water shut off because people are drowning in the basement. I'm like, what the? Is this backdraft? Like, did we fall in the elevator shaft, or like what's going on here? And I understand it's very, very overwhelming, and it's easy for us, the Monday morning quarterback, and that's not what we want to do. We want to talk about how they handle this incident. And from what I can tell, after the fire was under control, right, they didn't put out the gas-fed fire. They were able to get it to a position that allowed them to go search the buildings, get as many people out as they could. And if you guys see the photos online, it was a traditional pancake collapse. And honestly, there's only so much you can do. And while it's a nursing home and people are going to be not as physically there to be able to get themselves out and self-extricate, you do have a lot of staff. You have a lot of responsibility, especially 2 p.m. Like you're talking day shift. You got all kinds of doctors and everybody walking through those buildings. So, I mean, it had to be hectic and haywire. And honestly, the radio transmissions and just the command presence as a whole had to be like it. I can only imagine the chaos that took place, right? And for them to be able to get it under control, only lose 2 residents, get everybody accounted for, I think is a stellar job that they were able to get that done.
Yeah, for sure. Especially in Bucks County, where it's a very volunteer dependent county, to make sure that you're getting enough staffing to the scene to start handling all the different variables that are at hand. That's an absolutely phenomenal job. It'd be cool if we could get someone like Fat Pete from Eckerd Fire Tactics on here, because he was there and he used the Anderson Rescue Systems webbing to pull some victims out.
Hit Fat Pete up. I'd love to get him on there. Plus, I've seen he's a superstar on Hifty right now because that's what the back of his jacket says. So everybody's flaming him. And look, dude, everything's a moment in time, and we're firing the ball here. He don't care. It's just like me. I made Hifty. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like, woohoo! Who cares? With all that being said, though, dude, like, this is go time, dude. Like, this is it, right? Like, and look, this picture I'm about to pull up's like, it's an overhead. So it's going to look a little worse than what it is, right? But here you go, dude. I mean, you literally lost a whole piece of the building, and it pancaked right in. You know what I mean? And honestly, like, there's only so much you can do, right? Like, what's the best thing you can do? I think the fire was burning right about here. If you find some of the active fire photos, right? It's a gas-fed fire. Like, there's not much you can do other than protect the exposures till the gas company gets that off. And honestly, in an incident like this, they're going to have to shut that off at the street because you got to assume the meter's compromised, right? So you just can't go turning off valves because you're causing a bigger problem for them. Now, the one incident that I was on in my career in Baltimore, actually, it was Dan and I. If you guys don't know who Dan is, he's my business partner. We responded to a report of fire at a high-rise building. We showed up, Rescue One. It was downtown. Rescue One gets on scene first. Jerry Smith, I think you know him, gets on scene. He's like, well, I got 2 window washers hanging from the front of the building. So, like, I walk around. We're fourth due engine or third or fourth due engine. So come walking around front, and it's like literally out of a movie. There's 2 window washers hanging off the front of this building. I was like, holy shit. Like, you don't see that every day. And you're like, okay, whatever. It's just a rope rescue, whatever. So I go back to the wagon. I don't know what our crew ended up doing. I'm standing at the wagon. Next, all these people just start flooding out of the building. And I mean, dude, they are tethered. Their clothes are all messed up. They got soot all over their face. They're all beat up, scarred. I'm like, yo, this is like something out of a movie, dude. I was like, what is going on? So the one dude's like, dude, the whole top floor blew up. I'm like, yeah, what are you talking about? And at work, like, you don't want to talk on the radio. Like, you're just like, whatever, dude. Like, leave me alone. And at that same time, the officer of the rescue, Jerry, gets on the radio. He's like, I'm on the top floor. The roof's been blown off. I got active fire up here. I got about 30 victims. And I got 2 guys hanging off the scaffolding on the front of the building. I was like, holy crap, dude. So wind up charging a standpipe, wind up having to put out a fire, but same thing. How did it start? They were a 2-inch main or a 3-inch gas main in the BG&E building, which is the gas and electric company. They were renovating the building, and the gas was just feeding in there, and they were trying to drain it off or whatever. I'm not really sure the whole story, but either way, the plumber sparked his torch to go and cut the pipe and just blew the lid off of this building. Now, there you go. Same thing as this. Like, when you're looking at it, like, from the front, you're like, oh, it can't be that bad, right? Like, if you look at this here, like, yeah, it's, I don't know where the one photo is. Like, it's bad. Like, you can see it's collapsed in. But when you look overhead, you're like, holy smokes. It was kind of the same thing that we were dealing with in that high rise. Like, you can only see a high rise building that's standing there, and you don't really know what's going on. So, Gas-fed fires are becoming more like you see more and more of these, and I don't know if it's the internet and our attention to it, or they're happening more and more and more.
It seems like they're happening more and more and more because I feel like every 3-4 months, we hear of a house that explodes, and it seems like it's becoming a bigger thing. And I believe it was Loudoun County, Virginia, had the line of duty death at one.
Yeah.
Just a year ago.
Yep. So, I mean, overall, all in all, we'll try to get Fat Pete on here and talk about the incident. Love to get hear his firsthand accounts. And honestly, we would love to just have him on the show and talk about other current events. But yeah, dude, I mean, all in all, from what you can see and from what happened and the size of the incident, I believe that the guys did a really good job. Now, you did mention that there's a more volunteer fire system down there. I believe they still have volunteers. I think Bristol is all career, and I would assume Bensalem and Levittown might have been. I don't know. I get so lost down there. I do know Bristol has career guys. I think Bensalem now has career guys. So it's becoming more and more activated from that side of things. But in the end, I don't care if you're career or volunteer. This is a hell of an incident to have to deal with,
That's it.
All right. We got any new incidents that popped in? I know it's snowing up here in the Northeast, so not much going on. But let's see. All right.
Let's see. Hold on. Oh, lock me out.
Oh, no, you got booted out, boys.
It's all right. Oh, Cumberland County, North Carolina. They got a single-story double wide. I have not seen a 2-story double wide, but that's a mobile home. They have heavy fire shown. Request of working fire. What's Philly got? Nothing.
All right. Well, there you go. Another TED 75. All right. So we both have volunteer fire experience in our backgrounds. We're not just career scumbag guys. We are volunteers. We love the fire service as a whole. I don't care if you're career or volunteer. There's always a lot of interesting stuff going on. And I think this is something that you're seeing more and more of on a daily basis of volunteer fire companies getting booted or shut down. This story is from about a month ago, but the volunteer fire company in New York files suit seeking reinstatement after fire district suspended from active duty. The Poland Volunteer Fire Company has filed suit seeking the Poland Joint Fire District's decision to suspend company from providing services within the district in Herkimer County. According to the filing, Poland Volunteer Fire Company has protected for over 122 years. The fire district was created in 2017 and voted on to suspend in August of 2025. It suspended its relationship with the volunteer fire company. The petition alleges that this decision was made without any public notice or comment. The volunteer company states that prior to suspension, it had always been the exclusive provider of fire protection within the area the district covered. The filing alleges, I'm skipping to the good stuff, guys, later that the suspension was based on personal reasons rather than operational concerns. One fire commissioner affidavit referenced in the petition stating that the district never determined the fire company was unable to provide adequate service. Following the suspension, the district began relying on mutual aid companies outside the district to respond calls. The petition contends the response times more than doubled due to increased distances. Mutual aid agreements, the volunteer company argues, are not intended to provide fire protection. By mid-October, the district was to enter into a new fire protection. The volunteer company is asking the annual district's resolution suspending the company, bar the district from contracting with fire companies headquartered outside the district primary fire. Such contracts to be mutual aid agreements only. Order the district notify 9/11 that all volunteer fire companies be restored, and the issue of primary relief reinstating the company during litigation. And that was from Fire Law Blog. Now, I find this news article interesting, and I'll tell you why here in a second, because I live here in PA now. I am a local president of a local volunteer fire company, and this is more and more prevalent every single day. And I don't think people realize that the volunteer fire companies in certain states and jurisdictions can be discontinued almost immediately. and ultimately the authority having jurisdiction can boot you. Now, it is very interesting because I know where this area is. It's rural New York. I'm kind of intrigued by it, but you see this stuff happening more and more. I know we've seen it in Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, almost on the daily, especially down in the Darby area, right? Companies just closing down and opening up shop all the time. It's interesting. Spray Nine, I'd love to get your insight from like your Kentland days. Did you ever see any? Actually, was it Mount Rainier or whatever it was? Didn't they get shut
down? So you had company 2, 3, and 4 all combined to make one firehouse. I don't know all the details exactly about that because when I started riding in the county, company 55 was already a thing. Most recently, Seat Pleasant Volunteer Fire Department, they kind of closed their doors as the county built a career house down the street. But the big thing with whether it's in Prince George's County or anywhere, the volunteer corporations do it to themselves. Yeah. And they, for the longest time, everyone was able to say, oh, hey, we're the fire department. And really, they thought that they were on top of everyone else. They were above the law and they could do whatever they want. But sooner or later, and it's starting to really come around that, volunteer corporations, I'm still a volunteer myself, as well as being career. They do it to themselves. And you really, unfortunately, too many people get egotistical and are egotistical, and they're in positions of power, or they're the chief of a department or the president of the department, and they don't understand how to truly work with people. Therefore, stuff like this occurs because other people are egotistical and they're in a position of power within their local government. And now, because you have two people that don't know how to work with people in general, now they're butting heads and, oh, hey, I have the bigger penis. I can shut your doors. You're done.
Yeah, no, that's right. And I think you're seeing more and more funds transparency, right? Like tax dollars, people want to know where they're going. The more that the political pressure happens on the government side of things at the national level or the local level, the fire companies are getting squeezed. You see a lot of volunteer fire companies. I'm not saying this happened in this one that we're talking about, but a lot of local volunteer fire companies, they usually have that volunteer that steals money, and then they're the front page of the paper. And no politician in today's day and age wants to be the one to get flamed for that. To your point, the beef, the My Sandbox, we both grew up in PA. I'm here now. I'm a true bearded PA fireman at this point. But honestly, like, you still see the sandbox stuff going on, and you're not giving the best fire protection to the residents who pay their tax dollars to be protected. And that's ultimately what's sad. And I don't care if you're a career volunteer. I mean, you deal with it sometimes in your career department of where the boundaries and the magical lines are. And I understand you need to stop and start somewhere, but in the same sense, like, we're here to mutual aid and we're here to help each other. And it's a tough story, man. It's something that you're seeing more and more every single day. I don't know the answer locally to where we are here in PA. I think you're seeing more people wanting to go career because volunteers. I personally don't want to say they're dying because we live in a borough, very blue collar. We still get, I mean, dude, we had a run this morning and we, for an accident, we pulled two trucks worth of people. Like, it was insane. Now I know it's holidays and whatever else when we're recording this, but in the end, like, we're consistently pulling people. So I don't know how much of it's the culture of the volunteer fire service, how much of it's wanting to go career for guaranteed fire protection because the commissioners don't want it. I'm not really sure the motive behind it as a whole, but it is coming down the pike. You're seeing it more and more and more. And I don't have a good answer to it.
And nowadays, it just, the way the economy is, a lot of the people that would volunteer 20 years ago, they are working 2, 3, 4 jobs to make ends meet. And that's not just them working in the house. That's, both parties, the husband and wife, they're both working, and one person has multiple jobs while the wife only has the one because she still needs to take care of the house. So what time can I give when I work 4 jobs, and I want to be around my family.
No,
Um,
you know when I get my best volunteering time in during the day, during the work hours, because I am lucky enough that I get to work for myself that I can go. But to your point, there less and less employers are allowing people to go out the door, right? Number one. Number two, to your point, kids' activities, and that stuff all happened when we were kids. But you didn't have a cell phone. Where you at? Where you at? People tracking you. What's going on? Back in the day, it's like, oh, the pager went off. Dad's gone for however many hours, and I don't know if he's making it to my soccer game or not because I knew the fire whistle was blown, right? So,
right.
And I'm not saying it's right. Not saying it's right by any means, but in the same sense, it is truthfully what's happening today. So
yeah, that's the realization of what's going on, and we can both speak on both parts of it.
Yeah, listen, man. Being a career fireman, I would say the big difference for us was that we just got more reps. We got a lot of reps. We had a lot more practice to do it, and obviously the craft of the job. Like today it's snowing, right? So as soon as it started snowing here in Philly, boom, like when we were in Baltimore, any accumulation, we're putting the chains on. So then I'm always joking with the guys, like, so when do we put the cables on? And they're like, well, if we get a run and we need them, then we'll put them on. I'm like, yeah, but then it's too late. You know what I mean? So I don't know, dude. I'm torn in a way because like as a former union carrying card member, despite the time I carried Janus and I was looking for my union card, I'm for career staff in certain situations, in certain locations, but I also see where the volunteer fire system continues to operate and be successful. And I think it can be. And I think a lot of it comes from company culture and the leadership and the culture inside the fire service. I mean, yes, Claymont, let's use Kentland first, right? Because obviously you guys are the talk of the town, but why are they still 100% volunteer? Because you guys go to runs, right? You go to fires. Like if you're going to volunteer, yeah, everyone wants to volunteer because they get the reps in. Look at Claymont. They're the new thing, right? That whole northern Delaware region. They're a thing now because you have good firefighting culture. They're taking a ton of runs. They're going to a lot of fires, not only in their areas, but they go into Wilmington. They got a really good culture. Was it Progress out near Harrisburg? Great culture. Why? Because they run into Harrisburg City where they go to fires. And I think a lot of these not to mention, dude, the volunteer fire service now in some of these locations where you don't get a lot of runs. And I'm not saying this is what was going on in the story. Dude, the new PA State Fire is like 220 hours. Who has time unless you're a kid to go dedicate that? And honestly, now everyone's got a phone, so they're all swiping left, swiping right, TikTok and whatever else. Who wants to go sit at the fire academy for 220 hours? The only reason we did it was, it's what else are you gonna do? And then when you're done the fire academy, you go down the bowling alley or wherever to try to go court women or whatever you're trying to do. You did that when it was time to do that. And now it's like everybody's locked in all the time. So I think those are a few bullet points that people need to be cognizant of why maybe the volunteer system is dying. There was just an article, and I know I'm rambling on here, but Syracuse.com, they just did a big news article on like why the volunteer fire service is dying. And it's the same everywhere in all these areas. And you're talking about rural-ass New York. I'm talking about suburbia Philadelphia. And you're talking about bum nowhere, South Carolina. You're seeing this trend all across the country.
Yeah, for sure. And, it's we always say it doesn't matter where you are. The stories all stay the same. It's just that the faces and the names change.
Yeah, what is it? Same circus, different clowns. It's career volunteer. You can go into any firehouse, volunteer career, and they got the guy. Everyone's got a Fat Pete. Everyone's got a me. Everyone's got a Spray 9. Like everyone's got someone in your firehouse that is like that. But that's why the energy drink. We continue to support first responders. I don't care if you're a career volunteer. You guys got volunteer activities that you want us to sponsor. We've sent guys to training. We've bought pagers for volunteer firehouses. We've done stuff for career guys. It's all the same shit, dude. Like we're all out here on the same mission. And I used to say a thing when I was volunteer, and I used to say a thing when I was career. We all die the same, right? We all go to that Bristol incident. Yeah, we might have different tactics, and we might have different aggressive mindsets or non-aggressive mindsets, but in the end, we're all going to put that fire out in a similar fashion that's going to end up in a similar type result. And I don't want to take anything away from those guys, what they did that day. But in the end, if you place a volunteer, career, whatever, eventually we're going to get to what? The incident's going to be terminated and done, So
that's it.
All right, you ready for the last topic? Because this is our first episode. We just wanted to kind of get through a cadence. We want to get your guys' feedback. Let us know what you think. But let's hop into our last news story, and this might be a little controversial. And please don't make any judgments before we finish our points on this. We did discuss this because I wanted to make sure we're both on the same. Well, honestly, we have different viewpoints, but ultimately, I want to make sure that we're comfortable talking about it. So, an interesting news topic. Local 12, 2 greater Cincinnati fire departments make history with all-female fire companies on December 25th. Green Township, Ohio. If you live in 2 different greater Cincinnati communities and need help in a fire emergency, you might witness history in the making. Firefighters Holly Jackson, acting company officer Melissa Wilson, and fire apparatus operator Sydney Helms have officially become the first all-female fire engine company for Green Township. They will be in the Mack and Bridgetown areas serving residents' need. We wish them a slow shift. Merry Christmas from all of us at the Green Township Fire and EMS at Green Township. In 2024, the Green Township responded to 1,683 fire calls and 7,366 medical calls, averaging 24.7 run days. Meanwhile, in the city of Hamilton, Julia Beiser, Heather Garcia, and Savannah Strack have also become the first all-female fire staff, female team to staff a fire engine company. Through hard work and training and dedication, these firefighters earn their assignments and exemplify the professionalism, skill, commitment that define HFD's service to our community, said the city of Hamilton, Ohio. Thank you for your service and the example you set for the future generations of firefighters. And I just want to say one thing right here. It says, these firefighters. It doesn't say she firefighters or he firefighters. It says she firefighter, or it says firefighters. And I know we live in a day and age where everyone's trying to make a news story about what it is. But I'm sure if you ask these females that are working, or any males, they do not care if you're male or female. They care about one thing and one thing only. And what is that? The ability to perform the job and the tasks that are dealt to them at hand. And I truly believe that. And, a female that I worked with was killed in the line of duty in Baltimore. And I think one of the worst things, I want to stay on track with the news story, but the chief at the time, when he was talking about Kelsey, used the word Shiro. And I thought it was the most disrespectful thing that could have happened, because she was a firefighter. And she's one of us, and she did her job that day and ended up making the ultimate sacrifice. And I just think this is wrong. It's not a place for it. The fire service is not a place to fly your political beliefs. And honestly, I don't know. It's just kind of, I know I'm going on a rant.
No, but I'm going to piggyback off that. I've worked with a bunch of females who 100% can do the job. And I've worked with a bunch of males that 100% cannot do the job. And I say that because those females that want to do the job, they put forth the effort and they want to just be a part of the company, the crew. And the majority of the time, they have not used their sex or anything to earn that right. They enjoy getting down and dirty. They are in the mindsets and they don't want to be catered to. They want to earn those spots.
Yep.
So the females that I've dealt with, the majority, that's the way they thought. Have there been a few bad ones? Yeah. But they also find their spot, and they realize that the firefighting portion of it is not for them. And then they're getting pushed to, hey, no, you have to ride the fire engine. And they're like, no, I don't want to. I'd rather be an EMT and ride the medic unit, but then departments want to push them to do the stuff that they don't want to do, and it makes no one happy except those pushing that, the whole, oh, look, we have these females riding, and it's not a political agenda. It's what people want to do, what they love in the job, and the spots they earn.
Yep. And I think if anyone can perform the job, male or female, they should be able to do it, right? And we all know how there's females that can do the job, and there's males that can do the job, and there's females that can't do the job, and there's males that can't do the job. And honestly, in the end, we all just want to be next to someone. I used to say all the time, when I'm hanging through a floor, I don't care your sex, your race, your religious beliefs. I do not care. Pull me out of the hole and save my life, and just be able to do your job, right? And I think that's what we need to remember. That's what we need to get back to. And I understand, it's not the world that we live in. And hopefully that we can all recognize that, like, people will self-identify, right? Like Spray 9 just said, they're going to recognize, hey, this isn't for me. And it's okay to speak up and say, it's not for me. I want to go ride the medic unit. Go ride the medic unit. You know what? You're much more of an asset rather than a liability on the fire engine by doing what you want to do. And yeah, look, I get it. We all make fun of the guy that's downtown that doesn't want to fight fire, but he's the best administrator, right? Dude, we need someone to process payroll. We need someone to process all the incident reports. Yo, thanks, man. And listen, I was the one to talk the most shit at the kitchen table. Oh, fuck that guy. He's downtown, whatever. But you know what? Someone's got to do it. And if that's what you're good at and that's what you want to do, then so be it. Go do it,
I remember when I'd return home, and this is not a female thing, but this is a whole, like, ownership of the spots. There were younger guys who loved driving the apparatus for the volunteer firehouse, but they talked a big game on riding fire trucks and going to fires. But you never see them in gear at fires. And I'd always get angry at it until someone said to me, yo, they're driving. Be grateful because you don't have to. And then I started looking at all that in that fashion. I was like, damn, I don't care how much crap he talks about being a damn fireman. He loves driving that rig, and therefore I don't have to. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and it's a hard line to toe, right? Because it's like, when it goes down, you want that guy to be next to you, and you want to, like, test it, like, God forbid the day he's not driving the engine, right? But in the same sense, it's everyone's got a role, everyone's got a responsibility. If you're going to be a driver, go be the best driver. Know all the maps, know all the hydrants, know how to get where you're going. Be able to listen to the radio well en route. Have a rundown of what you're going to do, right? If you're going to be the guy that always rides the seat, or you're going to be the person that wants to go downtown and wants to be the best administrator, go be the best administrator. Go own the spot. Go be you. Go do you, right? And don't let anyone talk shit, So I agree with that wholeheartedly, that if you want to do something, go be good at it. And I love that, like, premise of, like, being grateful and being like, okay, this is what I want to do. This is what I love to do. You know what? I don't have to drive. And guess what? When it is time to drive, that guy will be able to teach me something, or that gal will be able to teach me something, because they do it so much. To be like, hey, Spray 9, when I get on scene, this is my rundown. This is what I like to do. You should try it sometime. Okay, well, you've driven to more fires than I have. I'm in. Tell me everything, So I think that's a really good outlook we should all have on life, about being grateful and, being able to look at, the positives of all that. So, yeah, man, you got anything else on this one?
No, I enjoyed it as always. I look forward to the next.
Yeah, these shows are going to get more in depth. We'll start posting more. We'll start looking at some comments. We're going to start posting some stuff up on Brotherhood Buffs page and the Energy Drinks page. You guys toss in topics that you want us to talk about, and we're going to talk about them, but we're always going to be looking for current events and news stories that are taking place. Let us know what you guys think. Put it down in the comments. And, I just want to say thank you. We will be out at the Energy Drink will be out at FDIC. We're launching in the Midwest with Hy-Vee grocery stores. We're launching here in the Mid-Atlantic with Redner's. I'll find out about ShopRite here shortly. You'll see Spray 9 out at the Key City Fire Conference, I think the South Carolina Fire Conference, and a few other places. You'll see us at the PA Fire Conference. We got a lot of stuff going on, and this is going to be our media digital outlet to get this to you guys. This is show number 1, so if it sucks, flame us in the comments. If it was amazing, let us know in the comments. You guys got any news stories that you want us to talk about? Put them up there. TED and Tactics. You guys got any TED 75s? Let us know, and we will catch you guys. Actually, that's a lie. Go check out theenergydrink.com. Use code SPRAY9 for 10% off. It'll help my man out over here. He does a lot of this stuff in hopes that we are big and bad one day. So, guys, give Spray 9 some support right here. I will find a new code. Go check out theenergydrink.com. Go check out Brother Buffs. We appreciate you all. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you next week.